The ghost of Adeline Marcus. The girl in the graveyard is your best friend, so you take her home. The night presses against your car windows like a bruise, deep purple tinged with red like fruit left too long on the counter to rot. Adeline sits quietly in the passenger seat, her hands folded on her lap. The seatbelt cuts across her chest, but her fingers keep twitching, prying at it. A finger, then two, like she's unfamiliar with how it works. Your eyes flick toward her face. Her jawline is the same sharp slice you remember, the bump on her nose from the baseball accident at 12, still crooked, still hers. But her skin looks stretched too thin, like a plastic bag left out in the rain. She smells of musk and sulfur, a sickly sweet rot that makes your throat tighten. You should look away, you want to, but you can't. She's still Adeline, still beautiful, even like this. Your headlights rake yellow slits across the dirt road ahead, the light warped and jaundiced. Your knuckles are white against the steering wheel, your lips cracked from the cold, and the girl beside you is dead. 4 days ago, you stepped into a hardware store and bought a shovel. Sturdy enough to lift a life on, you'd thought, the words repeating in your head as you walked to the register. For 4 nights, you dug in your backyard, shoveling until the soil caked under your fingernails and your garden looked like a battlefield of open mouths. You lay awake each night, staring at the ceiling, wondering what it felt like to burn alive. Now the shovel rattles in your trunk with each bump in the road. Your hands grip the wheel tighter, squeezing it like a throat you want to silence. Adeline turns her head toward you. Dawn is breaking, and the pale light washes over her face, turning her skin a sickly salmon gray. Her left eye slips from its socket, dangling for a moment before she presses it back in with the heel of her hand. She smiles at you, her head lolling to one side like a broken doll's. Adeline. Sorry, baby. I wasn't expecting company. I'm sure you understand. In the dim light, Adeline Marcus smiles up at you with pale gums and teeth too small for her mouth. Adeline Marcus died on October 31st. She was buried a week later, her gravestone etched with a date just shy of her 18th birthday. In court, the boys said it was an accident. They swore they didn't know she was inside the house when they set it on fire. A Halloween prank gone too far, they said. Wrong place, wrong time. For better or worse, you believed them. You knew how easy it was to make mistakes when you were young and stupid. But none of that changed the fact that Adeline had crawled out of the burning house on her hands and knees, only to die on the pavement, her Sunday dress scorched up to her thighs. The coroner said it was smoke inhalation, but all you can imagine is flame, a stiff palm striking her over and over again. The boys got 25 to life. The Marcus family got a dead daughter. And you? You were left with a hunger that felt like guilt. A guilt that gnawed at you like an Ouroboros, swallowing itself, eating you alive from the inside out, because this wasn't supposed to happen. Not to good people, not to her. In the shower, you watch the water spiral down the drain carrying dirt, dead insects, and the last remnants of mortuary makeup. Adeline sits on the tiled floor, her head resting on her knees, vertebrae poke through her skin like a line of molars, and dark veins map her brittle flesh. The heat scalds your skin, but she doesn't flinch. She just picks at the sediment under her nails, watching the dirt swirl around her feet. Adeline. It's not so bad. I don't even think I felt anything, but her lips are the color of spoiled plums and you know she's lying. You wrap her in threadbare towels and lead her to the living room. She curls up on the couch like she has nowhere else to be. In the kitchen, you find ants in your sugar bowl. Their tiny bodies glisten, caught in clumps of brown sludge and white crystals. You try to lift them out with a fork, but they slip through the gaps. You make tea anyway, adding too much milk. When you return to the living room, Adeline is still there. She stares at you with those same sunken eyes. You stare back. The two of you drink in silence. Tea dribbles from the hole in her chest, soaking the couch cushions. Still, she drinks until you stop. Adeline, you're not looking at me, not really. Yes, I am. Aren't I now? Adeline, no, you're not. The last time you saw Adeline alive was in the backseat of a stranger's car. It was Halloween night. The two of you never fit in at parties, so you'd sat outside, drinking stolen tequila from red plastic cups. The streetlights painted everything in a hazy citrus glow. Adeline, you're so pretty, you should stop. Adeline, just let me say it, just once. You should have left then. Instead, you let her pour another drink. You let her press her lips to yours, her breath warm and sweet with alcohol. And then you ran. Now she lies on your bed, her hair a dark spill across your pillow. Adeline, you can only love me when I'm not here. You can only love me when there's nothing left to love. Her hand brushes yours. Her skin is cold and damp like soil after rain. Don't tell anyone. Adeline, did you want it to die with me? Were you glad it was silenced? Don't tell anyone. Adeline, who would I tell? I'm not really here. You take her hand, pressing your cheek against the cool linen. For a moment it's almost like before, when you were just two girls playing dress-up, pretending the world couldn't touch you. But you both know the truth. The house was always going to burn, and you were always going to leave her behind.